extremely important concept, the concept of Agni, and how Agni is linked with the Tridoshas. Hi, yet another shloka under the world as doshas. So we will be looking into a very, very important concept as far as Ayurveda goes. Okay, because as you know that we are born and we actually go to death. And the one primary reason why we go to death is because we are burning. Okay, and why are we burning? So metabolism is happening and we are burning and then we go to death. And that metabolism, if that can be put in an optimum state, okay, moderately, if we can control that by our lifestyle and food, the rate at which we goes down, and that's how we say people actually live longer. Okay, and that thing which I'm going to discuss today, on which the treatment also stands as far as Ayurveda goes, is the concept of Agni. Okay, so when we look at the treatment, we call that Kaya Chikitsa. We had gone through Kaya when we discussed the 8 branches. So when Kaya Chikitsa is being explained, the one-liner for Kaya Chikitsa is Kayasya Antaragne Chikitsa Kaya Chikitsa. The treatment for the Agni inside the body is basically treatment. So if the Agni is metabolism is basically taken care of, treatment is taken care of. That is how Ayurveda works. Okay, so let us get into the shloka of the week. This is also from Ashtanga Hridaya, first chapter, the 9th shloka, and this is how the shloka goes. Tair bhavet vishamas teekshno mantas chagne samay samaha. Okay, and the transliteration, Tair bhavet vishamas teekshno mantas chagne samay samaha. Okay, so let us get into the meaning of it. The Agni. Okay, here we are trying to talk about the Agni. Taihi. Okay, so Vishamasti, it happens to be Bhavet. Okay, let me go back to the previous slide. Tair Bhavet Vishamasti. It happens to be, in the sense as far as Vata, Pitta and Kapha goes. Okay, so Vishama, Teekshna and Manda. These are the 3 ways in which Agni can behave, and Sama is also there, that is in balance. But basically, as far as Vata, Pitta and Kapha goes, Tair Bhavet, Vishama, Teekshna and Manda. Okay, so Agni for different people, when it is Vata predominant, the Agni becomes Vishama. When it is Pitta predominant, it becomes Teekshna, and when it is Kapha predominant, it becomes Manda. This is very important. Okay, especially if you look at people with Vata Prakriti, you can make out it as Vishama, Pitta Prakriti, Teekshna and Kapha Prakriti, Manda. And if you have got a disease where these doshas have gone up, then also you will find the Agni, Vishama, Teekshna and Manda respectively. Okay, so Vishama Agni, what do you mean by Vishama? Vishama is something which is unpredictable. Okay, for a Vata person, sometimes if he feels that he is extremely hungry, that he can eat a lot, then after some time he feels he's not hungry at all. So for him, the Agni is unpredictable. He can sometimes be very hungry and sometimes absolutely not hungry at all. That is the way he is also, the way he thinks also. He is somewhere here, he is somewhere there, So just like his Prakriti, his Agni is also extremely unpredictable. Okay, now when we get into Pitta, it is Teekshna. Teekshna means it is high or very sharp. In the sense he is extremely hungry, his metabolism is very high by nature, and he can eat and digest a lot of food. Okay, it's not about whether it is good or bad. That is his Prakriti. His Agni is extremely Teekshna. He's somebody who gets hungry pretty fast. He eats something, he digests, he's again hungry. He eats a lot, he digests, he's again hungry. So Pitta Prakriti person is extremely hungry. Okay, now Manda. Manda, like the Kapha Prakriti person. Kapha Prakriti person is predominantly earth and water. It is heavy and slow. The same with his Agni also. He can actually skip meal. Okay, he is not extremely hungry. Okay, he will eat. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. He will eat, but what happens is for him to actually get hungry, appetite, it will take a longer period of time. Okay, that is about Kapha. So Vata, it is unpredictable. Pitta, it is very good, and Kapha, it is not that good. Okay, and Samay Sabha. When the doshas are in balance, for a balanced person, the Agni is Sama, or it is in moderation. That means it is predictable, it is not very high, and he feels hungry. Okay, now let us get to the meaning of this. So the Agni is Vishama, that means unpredictable. Teekshna, strong or sharp. Manda, slow or low, for Vata, Pitta, and Kapha respectively. But if it is balanced, okay, the doshas are balanced, then the Agni also is balanced. So this is very important for us to understand. So okay, how will you get into it? When we actually treat a person and go through his case, if the vata is very high, we know that he's not sure what he wants. So he's not sure whether he wants to eat or not. So that what happens then? His appetite is not predictable. He cannot say. He gets up in the morning, a few days, and says he's extremely hungry. Certain days he says he's not hungry at all. Night, sometimes middle of the night he gets up and says he is hungry, but sometimes he's not hungry. So you cannot predict, just like you cannot predict his mood or the way he behaves. Likewise, you cannot predict his Agni also. Okay, so good digestion is always the key to good health. As I told before, if your Agni is basically in moderation or balanced, and it keeps on going through the middle path a little bit, so you eat that much of food and you can sustain the whole day. So people who are yogis usually, their Agni, they can control their Agni. So the Agni is very, very much in optimum, and they eat only very little. And so what happens is, we believe that they live longer and healthier, because that self burnout is not happening because of that Agni. Unpredictable Agni or Teekshna Agni or Manda Agni, it doesn't help at all. Okay, so for a patient, when for him to understand what is happening in his system, he should also analyze and see what kind of Agni I have got. If it's unpredictable, then he can probably understand that he is Vata Prakriti. You cannot change that Vishama Agni completely, but you should be able to. You can work around it. Teekshna Agni, you know that you are Pitta Prakriti. You understand that and work around it. If you don't sleep at night, if a Pitta Prakriti person doesn't go to bed early, his Agni will really go up. Okay, it will actually be really bad for him. And a person who is Kapha should understand that I can actually manage without food for a longer period of time, because I will not get hungry that fast. But that should not be a reason where you don't eat and stretch it a little bit too much. So understanding yourself is very important, and also for a doctor, understanding what happens to the patient is also very important as far as Agni goes, because treatment of Agni is treatment. Thank you.